Welcome to the fifth session of the Zeta course. Part 1. Morality. Is there a universal morality that we can all agree on? What is morality? Here's one dictionary definition. Morality: the extent to which actions are right or wrong according to certain principles. But who decides what is right or wrong? The culture we are born into? Religious leaders? Totalitarian ideology, like communism? Capitalism?
The point is, ladies and gentlemen, that greed, for lack of a better word, is good. Greed is right. Greed works. Greed clarifies, cuts through, and captures the essence of the evolutionary spirit. Greed in all of its forms. Greed for life, for money, for love, knowledge, has marked the upward surge of mankind, and greed, you mark my words, will not only save Teldar paper, but that other malfunctioning corporation called the USA. Thank you very much.
If you think we should respect all of them, then you are a moral relativist. The trouble is, anyone can invent their own moral code and impose it on others. So, is there a universal morality, one that all rational people can agree on? In order to agree with one another, we would have to overcome our human biases. This Muslim thinks homosexuality is a sin. These lesbians disagree, but they think eating meat is wrong. This butcher disagrees with them. He thinks heroin addicts should go to jail, though. This heroin addict disagrees, and he thinks the burqa should be banned. How can we get all of them to agree? Here's one idea.
What's your blueprint for a just society? Your answer probably reflects who you are and the situation you find yourself in. If you're rich, you may well be in favor of the freedom to earn and enjoy the fruits of your efforts. If you're poor, you're likely to be more supportive of a system that redistributes wealth. Now answer the same question with this twist. You won't know what kind of a person you'll be in the society you design. What you have to do is construct it from behind a veil of ignorance. You might end up black, white, in a wheelchair, straight, gay, born into a wealthy family, or living in extreme poverty. You might enjoy knitting, rock music, opera, tiddlywinks, or cage fighting, maybe even all of these. You just don't know how you'll end up. This is the thought experiment at the heart of John Rawls's book, A Theory of Justice. He argued that from behind the veil we'd opt for a much fairer society than we now have. There would be extensive freedom and fair equality of opportunity, but there wouldn't be extremes of high pay unless it could be shown that the poorest in society directly benefited as a result.
This method is a big step towards agreeing a universal morality, but is insufficient on its own. Some moral decisions are easy. For example, we should not murder purely for profit. In a thought experiment, imagining yourself to be the postmaster would convince you of this. Other moral decisions are too complex to be sure of. For example, the unforeseen consequences of invading Libya. In a thought experiment, imagine that you are one of the inhabitants of Misrata, surrounded by Gaddafi's army. Would you decide to invade? But the NATO invasion made things much worse, increasing the death toll from less than 2,000 to at least 20,000. Eight years later, after many more deaths, there is a sense of déjà vu. Yet we have a moral duty to try to make the best decisions based on the available evidence. Can we agree on a sensible basis for moral decision-making? Let's firstly consider the primal basis of morality. Many animals express so-called pre-moral sentiments that aid cooperative behaviour in their social groups, increasing their prospects of survival. Humans share these primal feelings and emotions. For example, pain, pleasure, maternal instinct, empathy, bonding. Taboos, such as incest, have their origins in natural selection, preventing abnormalities associated with inbreeding. Evolution uses the emotion of disgust to empower this taboo. But humans experience a more sophisticated sense of well-being than other animals, developed over thousands of generations. For example, pursuing interests and careers. Moral reasoning is the mental process of deciding how we should behave towards others. This includes the ability to reflect on the intention, motivation, and consequences of our actions. Moral reasoning takes place in our neocortex, which has evolved over time through natural selection. Humans can be held morally responsible, but other animals cannot. Morality. Behaviour intended to promote the well-being of others. We'll use this definition for the remainder of the course. Moral actions promote the well-being of others. Moral reasoning helps us decide which actions are moral. Whether we act upon our moral beliefs depends on our circumstances, character, competing desires, and biases. I want that truck, Twinkie. It's mine, Mo. I brought it from home. I said, give me the truck. Mo, you can't just take things from people because you are bigger. I'm not taking it. You're giving it to me, because we'll both be so much happier that way. How touching. Try the quiz that follows. There are also some issues for discussion.